Grab your nuts and bark.
And what is going on with all these rappers getting charged with RICO?
That's what I want to know.
Welcome back, everyone, here to Live Now from Fox, everyone. We appreciate you joining us here. We're now taking you out to our next story here. What started out as a peaceful protest.
Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use.
Against the death of a Georgia-based activist took a violent turn in downtown Atlanta Saturday night when people began throwing bricks at buildings and setting fire to police vehicles.
Now, meanwhile, look at what they're doing to the rappers.
Driving me crazy.
Look at what they're doing to the gangbangers in the cities. It's driving me crazy too, Larry. Shout out to Larry Lawton. Fair use, fair use.
There's two things I'm going to discuss today. All the rappers being charged with RICO, what the RICO is, and what the conspiracy law is.
News conference, Atlanta mayor and police chief made their stance on it very clear that they will always support and protect the First Amendment right to peacefully protest.
Yeah, man. See, now this is something that I've been bringing up for quite some time. I mean, goddamn. It's the rappers with the RICO Act. Prior to that, they was trying to arrest folks for being black identity extremists. Black identity extremists. I couldn't understand what that is. Like, what? How do you identify a black identity extremist? Like, what is that? Is that a nigga with bell bottoms and an afro? Like, what the fuck? What makes someone a black identity extremist? What makes someone black identity extremist? Is it a nigga selling bean pies with a bow tie? Then of course you know me. If you break down the letters, that's B-I-E. What's that? That's bye. Bye, niggas. How can you identify with yourself too much? You see the shit niggas got to go through?
The Racketeering Influenced Corruption Organization, RICO. That's the act.
Ooh, goddamn. Is this with Young Thug and Casanova 2 times? Is this what they being faced with? The racketeer influence. So they looking at them as racketeers. Let's just be real with racketeer. That's a racket. The Racketeer Influenced and Corruption Organizations Act. Yeah. Antifa, Ku Klux Klan, neo-Nazi group, all them motherfuckers. The Klan ain't never been classified as a white identity extremist group. That's why. That is the question. Why? Why haven't the Klan and neo-Nazi groups been classified as identity extremist groups?
First at 4, we are learning new details in Sunday's riot at the future site of the Atlanta Public Training Facility. Authorities have charged 23 people who they describe as agitators with domestic terrorism.
Finally, somebody else is talking about this. I'm wondering how the hell are rappers being hit with the RICO Act and ain't nobody who's distributing the music also having to do no jail time. Like, what the fuck?
There is no room for violence in Atlanta, and right now 5 of those suspects appearing in court right now. Let's listen right here.
What about Def Jam? What about Arista? Tomato, you dig. I mean, what about Jay-Z and them? I mean, how come ain't nobody else going?
Scott Smith has position 19. He has also previously dropped in his information.
Perfect. So let's try to get those up too so that we can get Ms. Mormon and Mr. Smith out.
Did you see the chaos that they created though? Set police cars on fire. Let's just be real. So-called black folks ain't thinking about that. Cause niggas get shot for nothing, for having a phone and shit. You think a nigga gonna do something to the car? We don't need additional charges on top of they beat you up and say you resisted arrest. Meanwhile, Antifa, these motherfuckers is doing orchestrated, organized assaults.
Authorities have charged 23 people who they describe as agitators with domestic terrorism.
On cities and policemen. And nobody's hitting them with identity extremists or the RICO Act.
I have a couple jobs to do today. One job is to figure out if there's probable cause for your arrest, and so I'll be reviewing the warrants to make sure that they're valid.
It got me so crazy, I did the deep dive. I got back into the law because that's what I did for 10 years in the federal system.
Because this is a criminal hearing, you have certain rights. You have the right to a lawyer. Everyone on this call is going to be represented by a lawyer who's going to argue for your release.
Subscribe to Larry Lawton, y'all.
Let's continue. First of all, I'm going to get into the RICO Act because studying the law, I know a lot about the RICO Act, and I even went deeper dive today.
Where'd you learn law, Larry? Prison. And that's okay, because some of the sharpest lawyers I've ever seen were first educated while doing time in prison.
I feel the government is really getting a little bit crazy with the RICO because...
Thank you. Because it was originally made for the mob, for the mafia, back in, what was that, the 50s? Early 60s? What the fuck? Anyway, it was first made for the mafia. Okay, La Familia, La Cosa Nostra.
Because it was intended in 1970. The RICO Act came out in 1970.
1970. See, there you go. 1970. Hey, Larry, shit, man, you accurate. Go ahead, man.
70. It was passed by Congress, the 91st Congress, and what they did was the intent of the law was to curb organized crime and big criminal enterprises.
See, why ain't Antifa and them being hit with the RICO along with domestic terrorism? Huh? How come the Klan ain't never been hit with the RICO? You know, along with domestic terrorism. You did? But no, nigga, they want to fuck with Farrakhan.
Can't get the bosses, the boss of the crime families, and they...
Hewitt P. Newton.
Organization, because they...
Martin Luther King.
They never had their hands. They weren't the guy pulling...
Malcolm X.
The gun. They weren't the guy actually making the phone call or going into the bank. But they were reaping the
Angela Davis.
rewards of it.
Assata Shakur.
And that is what the RICO Act is about. And we're going to get into the RICO Act right now.
All right. Get your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen. Ashe. Man. 13 love, 13 wisdom, 13 knowledge, and respect to each and every one of y'all, man. Hit that like and subscribe button for your man. Now, let's get into what is the RICO Act. Because most of us, we don't understand shit. The law. Which any of us could get caught up in, obviously. Because you really think rappers are that organized? Get the fuck out of here. But of course not. Because that lady that's holding the scales of justice, just blindfolded, the bitch is peeking. Woo!
Acronym for that act. It is under 18 U.S.C. 1961. That's just the U.S. codes that guys like myself would go into the criminal procedure books and we would...
Man, let's read that though. That shit says, okay. The Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act of 1970 seeks to strengthen the legal tools and evidence gathering by establishing new penal prohibitions and providing enhanced sanctions and new remedies for dealing with the unlawful activities of those engaged in organized crime. Damn. Woo!
The Racketeering Influence Corruption Organization Act is the United States federal law that provides for extended criminal penalties and a civil cause of action for acts
extended, goddamn,
criminal penalties United States federal law that provides for extended criminal penalties
Extended criminal penalties. God damn.
and a civil cause of action for acts performed as part of an ongoing criminal organization. Hear what I just said? Ongoing.